guys, welcome to the channel again. I'm Don. Welcome here if you're new. This is Rockin' the Country, where I do non-pop country music reactions. I do independent artists, a lot of independent artists, whether from Kentucky, from Texas, from just around Minnesota, wherever, around the country, sometimes around the world. I do Irish stuff, British stuff, even Japanese guys doing bluegrass, independent stuff that would not show up on a pop radio station coming out of, well, you pick your city, but Nashville's always the one that people cite. George Jones's song White Lightning. Of course, I know this one. I've actually reacted to it in the past. I think it was a studio version, but this is requested by George Woodruff, who made a gift to the channel for me to do this one. So George, shout out to you, my friend. George Jones is George Woodruff's favorite country artist. He's just made that very clear. And so I'm getting on this one. If you want to know how to make a gift to the channel, I get those reactions up within a day generally. Sometimes it takes two, depending on my other work that I have, but sometimes I even get it up that day, depending on timing. But generally, it's up almost always within a day, and the information's in the description box below. It's $25, PayPal, Venmo, and you send the request, and I get it done. But here is what George Woodruff said. Hi, Don. Or no, it's hey, Don. Hey, Don. George here from OK City, Oklahoma City, I assume? As you have guessed, my favorite singer is George Jones. Well, I didn't have to guess. You've told me that directly, but I would have guessed it. I'd like to request the Possum's first #1 song from 1959. That was a good year. That was a good year for me because I was born on June 19th in 1959. The song is White Lightning, and George does something in this song you've probably never heard in a song with his voice. LOL. Many thanks, Don. Love your channel, and hey, let me know if you hear that thing George does with his voice. And I always rate George's songs a 10. LOL. All right, yes, this much I know. I hope I don't disappoint, but I hope I can hear that thing he does with his voice. But anyhow, let's see this rendition. I don't think I've seen this one before. Here we go. 1959. I was born in 61.
Well, in North Carolina, way back in the hill, lived my own daddy and he hanging still. He brewed a white lightning till the sun went down. Filled him a jug and he passed it around. Mighty, mighty free, fast as one squeeze. Ooh, white lightning.
Yeah, it's talent.
Searching for a place to remain. They were looking right at boogie with my band together looking. Ooh, what a life.
I can do it. Triple X.
Well, I asked my old pappy why he called me blue. White line instead of Mountain Dew. I took a little sip, right away I knew. My eyes bugged out and my face turned blue. Lightning started flashing, thunder started crashing. Shh, ooh, what a life. Well, a G-Man, river news too. Searching for a place to remain. They were looking, trying to book him with my baby.
Like the backing.
What a lightning. Well, the city's liquor came and he said I'm tough. I think I want to taste like farm stuff. He took one to scrub and drink it on down. I heard him moaning as he hit the ground.
Yeah, you do hit the ground.
Ooh, what a lightning. Well, the G-Man, searching for a place to remain. They were all right and booking with my band together cooking. What a lightning.
Yeah, I don't know if you were talking about the Who White Lightning. Maybe you were talking about that, but the what was it? The thing he normally is like. How does it go? White Lightning. Anyway, what's the difference between Moonshine and Grain? alcohol. Because I know I had grain way back in the day, and I never had it again because you do not taste it. It was crazy. It was I was at a party. It was like in the punch. I didn't know about grain at the time. I didn't know how strong it was. Alcohol, I could always taste, like, because my drink back then was Jack Daniels, and I would always have JD and Coke. But Jack Daniels, you know when you're drinking Jack Daniels, or you know when you're drinking bourbon or whiskey or vodka or anything. Like it not only has a taste, it has a feel. The grain that we had no taste, no feel. It was 190 proof. And good Lord, it was one of these things where I couldn't even, like, truly woke up. I mean, which was good. But I was drinking, sipping whatever I was having. It tasted like Kool-Aid. And I didn't know all this stuff was in it. And good Lord, never had it again. But what's the difference between White Lightning and grain alcohol? Is it the same? Is it made the same? All that stuff. But that part of it aside, I mean, George, just even the setting here, George Jones, I'm talking about, as well as George Woodruff here. But George Jones is with the hay behind him, and he's sitting on something. Like, I know you have to stage these things, right? Where are we going to put him? Is he going to be standing up? Is he going to be sitting down? How do we want to do this? And George obviously was earlier in his career, and he got a number one out of it. I don't know if the song was number one when he did this performance. It sounds like the audience knew the song, but you never know. I mean, that I don't think it was canned, but it could have been, sort of canned applause in there. I don't know where this was shot. Was it on the set of? It could have been on the set of Hee Haw. I don't know when that started, but this was just George. He loved performing. He was good at it. Even just coming up with that little affectation, that little like that. Like, there was a time when that didn't exist, and somebody came up with it and said, I'm going to put that in the song, and we're going to see if we can get away with it. And sometimes just a properly placed pause in a song really makes a line or a phrase memorable. And so it's not always what's in a song, but what's not in it, or the creative parts to it that make it work. And that was just one of them. I wonder if this song would have been as popular if it would have gone to number one, if it hadn't been for that part of it. It might not have gone that far, but that certainly stood out to people because it was funny. It was different. I don't know if any other songs have that in them other than possible odes to George. I don't know. But George Woodruff, this was, it was just fun. That's all it, this kind of song is just fun. And then the City Slicker came and said, basically was showing himself as all of that. So I gave him some of it and he hit the ground. Okay. That's one way of slamming the city. Yeah, because when you have a still, you're not going to have a still in the city. It's just too obvious what it is. And it's, there's an aroma that comes from it, of course. And you got to have the coils and all those things. And I guess you got to keep feeding them too when you're making moonshine, right? Don't you have to keep, it drips out, but don't you have to keep feeding it? I don't think it's corn, but it's you got to do something. I know some of you folks will slam me for not knowing, but as you can tell by my story of grain, moonshine does not appeal to me. And I work in a wine store up here. They're right near the house. I said, you know what? I want to get back out there in public. So I work in a wine store over there, but they also have these things in the store called shooters, and they're moonshine shooters, but they have flavors. And I'm like, good Lord, you people drink this stuff? I just drink wine. I have a glass of wine with my dinner, and that's it. Haven't been drunk in 40 years. It just doesn't appeal to me anymore. But moonshine is a whole different animal. And I guess folks in the city or folks who just don't have enough property to have a still don't understand it, such as myself. But I've looked it up. I've seen it. A buddy of mine makes it. I won't say where. But I don't think you get in trouble for making it anymore. Maybe you do. George Woodruff, I'll rate my experience with this song And the number that immediately popped into my head was a 9.0. So it's in the 9.0 category in the playlist of songs of 9 and above, but it's not in your category of 10 because I have a playlist of songs that I've given a rating of 10 to. And anyhow, this was just a fun thing, and I hope I nailed the part that he did with his voice for you. But I'm not sure if I picked up on what you were looking for, so you'll let me know that. All right, guys, you can thank George Woodruff for that George Jones reaction or review. Have a great day. I'll see you on another video. Keep rocking the country.
Ooh, what a life.